One two one two. What's up, everybody? This is Renoir, aka Ren the Vinyl Archaeologist, and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about the future of the mobile DJ, the virtual pivot, and we've invited a bunch of guests to join us who are have their own mobile DJ companies. A lot of people have been suffering since COVID. We've all had some trials and tribulations as mobile DJs, and so I wanted to invite some guests to try to figure out solutions to the crisis that we're facing as mobile DJs. A lot of us have gone out of business and have pivoted, and that's what this discussion is all about. Okay, sorry about that. I took the music off. Let's see here. All right. So again, I go by Ren the Vinyl Archaeologist. Thanks for joining me, and about to introduce our upcoming guests. The first one I would like to introduce is Matt Hayes. I've worked with him for several years. He's been doing a lot of stuff on the production side, but he also has his own mobile DJ company. Please welcome Matt Hayes. What's up, Matt? I can't hear you. Is your mic on? I can't hear anything. Okay, let's as we figure out. I still can't hear you, Matt. All right, we'll figure that out. But let's bring on the next person. Okay, I hear something. All right, let's also bring on DJ Twin Spin. He's also in the chat. We didn't sound check this. Hey, what's up, Missy Christie? Welcome. Okay, we got Twin Spin also. What's up, Twin?
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Okay, so I hear you, Matt. I still can't hear your mic there.
He might be his settings in StreamYard. He has to go into the audio cam.
Okay, yeah. So
cam mic
you might
setting.
have to cam mic setting. Click on that. Either that or try to come out and come back in. Sometimes that also works, and then you select your cam mic settings as you.
Yeah, that might work as well too.
That's another solution. But as we try to figure out your mic settings and stuff like that, what's up, Twin? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, man?
Good. So for people who don't know, Twin Spin is a DJ out here, based out of the Bay Area. Shout out to I am DJ Pre. Welcome.
What up, Pre?
Yeah, please host everybody. Everybody, please host. This is going to be a great conversation on the future of mobile DJing. So yeah, tell people about a little bit about yourself, Twin.
Yeah. So my name is DJ Twin Spin. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I DJ full time. I have a DJ event production company here in the Bay. We specialize in corporate events and weddings, and we do like large scale events and some small scale events too. But our main bread and butter is basically corporate events, because we're in the Silicon Valley. We're near Silicon Valley, so a lot of our corporate are all client tech firms, right? So we've got like Microsoft, Cisco, Amazon, those types of companies that we work with, and then we also do weddings as well too. Weddings is a big chunk of our business as well too, and then we we do a lot of AV lighting and sound and video and all that kind of good stuff. So.
Okay, so you provide all those services.
Yeah, we do everything. We just it started off obviously like everyone else, most mobile DJs out there start off as just DJing, but realistically, as a mobile DJ, it's really hard to make a decent living, especially here in the Bay Area, just strictly DJing. If you're just going to offer just DJing services, it's going to be tough, because you've got so many DJs in our market, so saturated that there's DJs that are charging a lot less. It's very competitive. So in order to capture to make our business as lucrative as possible and try to capture every opportunity that we get. I started, and I've got a big background in AV. I know a lot of AV technology, so I started providing AV rental, lighting, sound equipment, microphones, video projection, and all that. So I used to work for an AV company back in the mid '90s. I worked for an AV company for a long time, and I learned a lot of the ropes just working for them. So I took that knowledge that I learned from there, and I basically use it for my own business now. So yeah, so I've been doing it for about my business has been about 25 years, and I've been teaching for about 36 years.
Dope. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good amount of time. All
Yeah.
right. Cool. Yeah. Next, our next guest is Amani Roberts, known as Amani Experience on Twitch. What's up, Amani? How you doing? So Amani, for people who don't know Amani, he's really killing the Twitch game. I mean, he's got
Yeah.
different themed shows. I mean, it's really quite incredible what he does, from the dating game, the trivia game, Survivor, and then also on top of that, just being a dope DJ on top of multitasking all those different things. So for people who don't know, tell us about your background in terms of the mobile DJ thing.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me. Amani Experience, as you said. I've been DJing for 13 years. DJ, music producer, author, also professor at Cal State University Fullerton. So that kind of gives me a nice, well-rounded work experience. And I first started off DJing bars and some clubs, and I've kind of got into more corporate events, social. So if you're looking at kind of how my business breaks down, in a normal environment, it's mostly corporate events, then clubs and bars, then social. And that's what I do. I also teach people how to DJ. That's one of my kind of revenue streams. And that's pretty
Dope.
much how I'm a part of, the corporate DJing and corporate event space. I'm very active in Meeting Professionals International, Southern California chapter. I'm on the board. Idea of what the trends are coming, what event planners are looking for. And yeah, I've been on Twitch since late March, early April, and just try to be creative and have fun.
And you're based out of LA,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm based out of LA and I grew up in the DC area, but I've been out in LA for about 13 years, since April '07, so almost 14 years now.
Okay, so tell us about the type of clientele that you've been getting down in LA.
I do a lot of corporate events. So, we have events like with stuff with the studios, corporations, some association business, especially if they're coming or traveling to this area for meetings. And I work a lot with some corporate event planners. So they'll hire me for many of their clients. I do that. I do have a couple, real strong set of social wedding planners that I'll work with too. So they hire me out to do different things. And that's primarily the business I get out here in terms of corporate events. And then I also will travel to do corporate events, whether it be Florida, Chicago, DC. So I will travel and DJ there also.
Nice. And then you also have a book. Can you tell us about your book?
Since you asked, yes. Well, since you asked, I always got to push the book.
Mhm.
It's been that's your copy's still in the mail. I got
I need
you.
to get you one.
Yeah, DJs Mean Business. It really just takes the time slots of a DJ set and relates it to growing a business. For example, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is generally speaking the DJ set times, and 10 p.m. will be when people walk into the club just getting to know the DJ. The DJ is just getting to know who's going to be there for the night. Same thing in business. When you get started in business, you have to get to know who's your ideal client. We go through to like 11 p.m. troubleshooting, and something always goes wrong in the DJ booth. How do you fix it? But the music can never stop. Same thing in business, because you might have to make a pivot, as you say, but you can never really stop your business. We go on to midnight, prime time, the dance floor is packed. Same thing in business. You want business to keep coming in, just month over month, increasing it. My favorite time, which we talked about, is slow jams. The end of the night, I'll put on some slow jams, 1:30. But companies also use nostalgia, which is a form of slow jams, to spark new business opportunities too. And then the night is over, so the book ends. There's a chapter on feedback, how I used to drive for Uber and get feedback from the same people that were in the club. And that's pretty much a synopsis of the book.
Okay, nice, nice. And it kind of, runs down like the business of DJing and what to do, what not to do.
Yeah, what to do and not to do. I give some tips in terms of trying to grow your business based on my experience. There's a whole chapter on DJ terminology. So it gives people who don't know about the DJ life but want to experience and learn, it gives them a really good synopsis. It's a good starting point. And it lets people know that DJs are very talented people. We're not just button pushers, but we're really emotionally intelligent. We are marketers. We have to meet the needs of 4 or 5 different people within one gig, and that's very challenging. So the people need to know that. They need to know that we're more than what meets the eye.
Oh, that's true. That's so true. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're not just playing the music. We're actually also sound engineers. We play a bunch of different roles as DJs. Yeah, that people don't recognize or realize. For me as a DJ, I've learned how to do marketing. I know how to edit video. I know how to like do Photoshop. I know like just about everything just by having to promote my own events or and market my own events and stuff like that. Yeah, and whatever else goes with that in terms of production, and stuff like that. And you kind of have to have also a keen sense and awareness about being kind of like an event producer. You're kind of in there with the person who's planning the wedding or corporate event, but you also have to have a sense of like what it takes. I think that's kind of important.
Agreed.
Um, so so let's set this off. What have you guys been doing? We know we're all on Twitch, right? I know
Right.
that Twin Spin's on Twitch. Matt Hayes is not with us right now, but he was on Twitch in the beginning. I know he's busy doing other things now, but when we get him back on. But yeah, tell us about your pivot. Right now, we'll start off with Amani.
Yeah, when everything kind of shut down early March, I started doing my podcast episodes, live streaming those on Twitch, and I would DJ stream maybe once a week. Once a week, and I would do that. It's funny because Misty Christie's in the audience. She was one of the first people to really kind of be on my streams, just the three of us, myself, her, and my friend Flossie. And then
Okay.
I would continue I added on another day. I think I added on Sundays. So then I would DJ on Wednesday nights and Sundays. And then I kind of went all in around the June, July timeframe and just started streaming on Twitch and kind of seeing what was working my way up to affiliate. And it's been like that ever since. You make some adjustments, kind of cut back some days, figure out the schedule that works best for me. And, Twitch has been good. I've done some virtual events. I would like to do more. It's just finding the right clients for the right rates. But to be honest, I really wasn't ready like I am now. It took me a long while to get here because I didn't know about like green screens. I didn't know about using OBS. It took me a while to get here, but now I'm very confident that I can do pretty much any virtual event with the sound, because once you go through sound issues, you never forget how to fix it. And so it took me a while to get here, but I'm ready. Like I'm doing more. And so I just feel comfortable now.
Dope, dope. Okay, it looks like Matt Hayes is back with us. Let's see if we could add him to the stream. What's up, Matt? How you doing?
Great, great. Speaking of
Awesome,
sound
awesome.
issues, you could have the most expensive Shure mic and the nicest universal audio sound card, and that stuff sometimes it just doesn't work when you try a new app.
Yeah,
So it's very important
exactly.
to troubleshoot before you're going live. You understand about it.
Yeah.
What's
True,
good,
true. And
everybody?
and
What's
I
that?
probably should have done a sound check prior to we should have just
All
I
good.
should have told everybody come in 15 minutes before.
Yeah.
But shout out to everybody tuning in. We got DJ Dave Paul in the building, DJ Pre in the building, Misty Christie, as you mentioned, NC Alex 910. Okay, Matt. So I've been working with Matt for a bunch of years. I know him as a DJ, someone who's always like in behind the scenes doing a lot of production. Matt, tell us a little bit about your background, and in terms of the mobile DJ thing, but in events just in general.
For sure, man. Yeah, thanks for having me. What's up, everybody else on the panel? It's good to meet y'all and everybody listening and watching. My name is Matt Hayes. I grew up in the Bronx in New York City, moved out to Cali in 2006. My first gig was in 1990. I was 10, and I was cutting up Paula Abdul and MC Hammer cassettes at my little sister's birthday party. I didn't even know I was DJing, but I really loved sharing music. And yeah, it all just kind of came together from there. So I've been producing events and DJing at live events for 20 years. And I also have a background in nonprofit event production and outdoor event production with such events as the San Francisco Marathon. And like Ren said, I've worked on a lot of productions for like Treasure Island Music Festival, Lightning in a Bottle, Bottle Rock, a lot of stuff with Hush concerts. And yeah, shout out to Robbie and John for putting me on back in the day and kind of giving me foothold in San Francisco and the Bay. Started my own production company in 2014 called More SF. More SF. And yeah, and just been kind of, trying to figure out what the people want and, serve the community. We've always had a community focus. I've always been community oriented with producing events and collaborating with people. And that's even more important than ever right now, given what we're all dealing with.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, shout out to Hush Concerts. They're definitely responsible for getting me into DJing like Outside Lands and Bottle Rock and all these big festivals like Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival, and and just getting my feet wet into some of the production that they've done, because I wouldn't have been able to set up Warren G at Bottle Rock and stuff like that if it wasn't for them. And also shout out to you, Matt, because you've also helped me out in terms of the mobile DJ thing. You're one of the 4 DJ companies that's hired me throughout the years, from the bar mitzvahs to the weddings and different stuff. I definitely got my feet wet thanks to you. You know what I mean? You helped me out in terms of like knowing what the horror was and how to get that shit started and
For
stuff
sure.
like that. So so tell us about your pivot. What have you been doing since COVID hit?
Yeah. Well, first I got a puppy. Pickle, come here. Pickle. He's over there. She kind of saved my life, to be honest. Yeah, I was in the beginning, I was kind of, I think like a lot of people, just in shock. Like you and probably the other gentlemen on this panel, I've been, grinding, hustling events for years. Like a weekend off was unheard of, let alone like no events through the spring, through the summer. I had massive postponements, cancellations for all kinds of events. And
that means you have to pay back the money oftentimes. That means you have to pay back their deposit oftentimes.
Yeah, that's another topic, and I could talk for a while about those kind of situations, but get your contract straight. That's my first piece of advice. So like after a little while of just kind of freaking out and trying to, look to the future and try to read the crystal ball to see what was going to be happening over the rest of the year. Like, how long was this going to last? Nobody knew. We were getting bad information from the top, so it was hard to really gauge. Thankfully I do actually have a degree in film and video production. So getting the home studio set up, I had some gear on my hands. I was able to set up a 3-camera setup in my home office, my newly minted home office / studio. So I had the stuff, but running OBS, trying to stream to different platforms was definitely a trial by fire, and it was worth it. I mean, it felt good to play music for people, even if we didn't have that same kind of connection. So I wound up, for the first, up until probably the fall, like the end of summer, I was doing a lot of online streaming just on my own, DJing for different fundraisers. And I had just started a new monthly party in Oakland that we only got to do one live edition of it. And then we moved that to virtual. So that was interesting to try to do basically a back and forth DJ tag with the raids and all that stuff on Twitch, where we had all our residents playing at different locations. So I became an IT manager and an event promoter and, AV tech, for a bunch of people. So that was really interesting. Since then, I've kind of gone in different directions. Yeah, I'm definitely. I started DJing at the farmers market out here in the Sunset in San Francisco, like about 2 months ago, and just playing music for the families and little kids has been beautiful. Like, there's no money in it, but it just being able to play music through a sound system, having like 4-year-olds come up and boogie for a second before they go get their fruits and veggies is just like means a lot. Just to have that little second of connection means a great deal at this point.
Nice. Great. So you haven't been streaming since. You just kind of have been just kind of laying low on the streaming tip.
I've been doing occasional streaming stuff. I DJ'd for an ecstatic dance party, which was cool. Yeah, shout out to Tyler Blank and Oakland Ecstatic Dance. That's, people come to dance, even though it's online. You've got 50 people in their Zoom boxes just getting down, which is really nice because it can be kind of awkward sometimes. If people are camera shy, they don't really want to dance on camera. So you don't get any kind of visual feedback. And I'm sure all the other DJs here, like you're watching the crowd usually. You got that one person, or you're just watching the energy to see where you should go next. And a lot of it, when you're playing online, it's like it feels like you're playing to the void sometimes, even though it does feel good.
It's true. Or you're playing to the chat sometimes, if you don't see a lot of action in the chat, you're like,
And that's another aspect, not just the IT and the, video and the capture cards and the sound cards, but like trying to chat and keep up with that and converse with people, not just on the mic, but also typing while you're, trying to DJ. Like, I got to give it up to the whoever's holding it down with like the OnlyFans and the cam girls that have been doing this for years. Like, that shit is hard. Like, I could definitely not look sexy while I'm doing it. I'm like this, trying to type and also trying to not miss the mix. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, it's a lot of.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot of multitasking. Yeah. So I just wanted to introduce you to each other. Amani's been doing a lot of great things online. If you're not familiar with him, follow him on Amani Experience. He's in the chat on the Twitch right now. Let's just do some shout outs. Shout out to what's that Lance guy. Shout out to Malachi. Shout out to Flossy DJ. If you can, please host this channel so people can chime in the chat. And also, if you want to try to join the conversation, let us know. Raise your hand. We do have hand raising as one of the channel points, and then I can bring you into the chat Clubhouse style. People are on Clubhouse yet, you'll know what I mean. Okay, let's go on. Twin Spin, let us know about your pivot.
Well, for me, I kind of started like everyone else. I did the whole Facebook, Instagram thing. That wasn't working. What kind of originally motivated me to start streaming was I wanted to kind of give back to the community because I figured, everything shut down. All my events, gigs got canceled or postponed. I've got really nothing to do. And again, like I said, this is my full-time career. So I said, what can I do? Because if I don't do anything, I'm going to go crazy. So I figured, there's a lot going on in the world. I want to give back to a lot of people I feel like have been affected by COVID and the pandemic. So I started doing theme events, theme parties, like once a week. And then each theme would be like dedicated to a certain group of people. So like I do like a frontline party for all the frontline workers. I did one for teachers. I actually even did one for all my wedding couples because I know all my wedding couples had to postpone or cancel the wedding plans. So I felt really bad for them. So that was my way of giving back, saying, I appreciate what you guys are going through. I'm sorry what you're going through. And I just want to, try to lighten the mood a little bit for you guys. So I want to dedicate a night for you guys just specifically to stream. And the music's going to be whatever you guys want to hear. So I did that once a week. But I realized, again, Facebook, Instagram wasn't working. And like every other DJ, switched over to Twitch. But I thought Twitch was a gaming platform. And I only knew one DJ that was on Twitch. Sam Maxian, he's from the Bay Area, but he lives in Vegas now. So I would see him post once in a while, and on Facebook and say, "Yeah, I'm streaming on Twitch." And I'm thinking, "What is Twitch? What's this?" But I always thought it was a gaming platform. So anyway, I jumped on there and totally just blind, didn't know what I was doing. Just had my iPhone and went at it. And yeah, I did that once a week. But then I started realizing that, you know what? We could really monetize this. Like there's a way, besides obviously making money. And I didn't even know you can make money from Twitch. I didn't know Twitch was even monetizable. But I also started thinking, I was like, there's a way to use this and to be able to stream and to actually monetize it and take it to our corporate world side, right? So I already started getting couples email me, hey, can you do a virtual wedding? And that's where the light bulb kind of hit in my head. I was like, huh, I've never done a virtual wedding, but let me explore this avenue a little bit. So I started looking deeper into it, and I was like, it's possible. We would just have to provide the equipment, sound equipment, video projectors, and things like that at the venue or wherever they're at. So that kind of triggered my idea of doing more virtual events. And so from there, I started reaching out to a lot of my corporate planners that I've been working with over the years, and also marketing departments for corporate companies, tech companies who I know. And I just been reaching out. I said, hey, I know all your events are shut down, your conferences have shut down, holiday parties are gone. But there is this thing called virtual DJing services, and they were like, "Whoa, what? Really? What?" So I explained that to them, what's going on and how it works, and they're really intrigued by it. And yeah, so from there it kind of snowballed. So I just kind of basically put a little bug in their ear, real early stages, probably. So I started streaming on Twitch in April, and then I started kind of reaching out to planners and wedding planners, event planners, corporate event planners, marketing people for different companies. I started reaching out to them probably June. And so I just kind of said, hey, we know everything's shutting down, but I'm doing virtual DJing. It's a live streaming DJing. It's like, it's this virtual immersive opportunity where you can sit there and watch me DJ and play music for you guys, and with the virtual background, 3D background and stuff. So I left it at that. And then eventually I just started getting emails back from people like, hey, I remember you reached out to me about a month ago about your virtual, DJing services. We've got an event coming up, or I've got a client that's doing a conference coming up, and they're also going virtual, and they want to know some information about what it's all about. So so I just sent them some clips from Twitch, my Twitch streams, and they loved it. And so from there, like I said, it just kind of snowballed, and people started seeing it, and they kind of caught on. But it's such a new industry for everybody that one of the challenges I was running into was like, what do I charge? How do I charge? What kind of contract do I write up? So those are some of the stumbling blocks I definitely ran into, like right away. I was like, my normal contracts are not going to work because none of it pertains to it, right? So that was one of the biggest challenges. But once it starts kind of spreading and people start finding out about this virtual DJ world, they'll start calling, they start sending you emails and reaching out. It's pretty good.
Nice. So did you have to do some freebies and to just show people, what you're talking about?
No, not really, because when I showed them, I would basically take clips from Twitch. I would clip a little segment from my Twitch streams, and then I would save it, and then I would just basically send them a link for it so they could watch it. So it's kind of self-explanatory. They're, oh, this is awesome. I want this. How much do you charge? So I never really had to say, hey, I'll do it for free, right? I did like some Zoom parties, but they weren't really corporate. Those were more like private parties, birthday parties type of things. But the sound quality, the video quality was just garbage. So I just stopped doing that. And so I was like, so I just sent them these clips from my streams on Twitch, and it's just self-explanatory. They'd be like, wow, this is cool. I love the backgrounds. I love your visuals. Wow. Okay. So what does it cost? And so I'm like, let me get back to you on that, because I don't know. I have no idea. Like, no clue. So yeah, that was a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, I didn't have to do any freebies per se, but it just kind of started from just sending a simple clip, really. And it's self-explanatory once you see that. Nice.
Yeah, that's really, that's really smart. It's it's good to know because, for me, I've only done a couple, and I haven't really, done it officially for money. I've only done it for like the law school because my wife works at the law school. Right. But I think part of the problem is a lot, like you said, a lot of people aren't up on it. You know what I mean? This is a whole new thing. It's even for DJs, it's a new thing. When I've seen people do, streaming a Zoom stream, for some of our other colleagues at the law school, it just be like a DJ literally just DJing, and there's no interaction. There's nothing
Right.
like, like Twitch has taught us, trained us to do this. You know what I mean? To interact, to know how to actually do this right. So when I did it, people totally enjoyed it. I think it was the first time they've seen anything like it. I used the green screen. I superimposed myself like outside of the law school. I put Bernie Sanders on the screen. You know what I mean? Sitting down. You know what I mean? And this was just recently. So, but I think a lot of people just don't know. I think that's one of the big challenges. Any comments from you guys, Matt or Amani?
Oh, so Amani, go ahead, brother.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you're right. Like, it took a while to get here in terms of not only us figuring out how to do it, but also like event planners to figure out that it's a legitimate option. And now that they know that it's legitimate and it can work, and it's, they can use the budget they were going to spend for a DJ this way, because we don't want them to just not have a DJ, because then they could lose their budget. So as long as they keep the budget and can hire us, we can, in some ways, we could make it even better with the backdrops, with the scenes, with just the different things you can do. I mean, I just learned pretty recently, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, where you can use OBS as your virtual camera on Zoom and do the scenes from there and all sorts of things, and getting the stream deck. There's lots of things we can do that can make it almost just as valuable, if not more valuable, than in person. Plus, what companies are realizing is that, say they're based in the Bay Area, like all three of you all, but they have a client base that's in New York, Brazil, London, like internationally. They can have these events where they can all attend at the same time. And then that kind of says, oh, this is something we never anticipated before. We need to, not only do we need to continue to research this, but we need to keep this going when things, quote unquote, return back to normal. So I think that it's taken them a while to get there, but now that they're there, they realize that this really shouldn't go away. It should be part of your tool belt, so to speak, moving forward.
Right. I definitely agree.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I think, real quick, you brought up a good point, Amani, is that the beauty of this virtual DJing thing is that we can stream anywhere across the entire globe, right? So like I did a virtual corporate event a couple times already now for 5 different time zones in a matter of one day. I was streaming in East Coast, West Coast, the UK, Japan, India. And so I was DJing at these, the crappy part about it is as DJs, well, for me at least, is that I was DJing like the most craziest odd time of the day. I was DJing like at 2 a.m. and I did a set at 5 a.m. and then 9 a.m. and then 3 p.m.
Wow.
And it's right. So I'm like waking up, wake up, crack of dawn. And I'm like DJing. I'm like trying to be like, happy and fun. But I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm DJing right now. It's 5 in the morning, So that's a challenging part. But other than that, you can really stream anywhere you want, anywhere in the world it's what's beautiful about it. So there's no limitation as before, where you can only kind of do, if you're in the Bay Area, you all can pretty much do Bay Area gigs. Now we just, wherever you want to go, you can go. Yeah.
It's just, it's opening up for us. Like, we have to add this to when we're selling to clients. Like, have you thought about your client base that's on the East Coast? If you're on the West Coast, like, we can live stream this event. If I'm going in person, we can also live stream it so that people who are on the East Coast that maybe aren't comfortable traveling, because I think you're going to see for many years, people are not going to be comfortable traveling as much as they used to. But you can still reach them. They can still be a part of it, which will then add value to that company, because they're spending the money and the time to include as many of their associates as possible, which is a win for everyone. So there's just many levels to it that we're just now getting into.
Right.
Right. Matt, any comments?
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say earlier, but I do have something else to add. So another thing that kind of came up, a lot of people have their COVID hobby, like baking sourdough bread, or started meditating or whatever they're doing. But I started playing tennis, and my tennis buddy Jeff is also a tour manager for Live Nation. And nice. I have other friends who also work in event festival production, who work in the film industry in LA. And both of those folks, those groups, and Jeff were telling me, oh, you got to take this COVID compliance officer course. It's an online course. It costs $50. you take a test and you get certified. And this is basically a necessary position for all in-person events, special events that are happening and could be really valuable to different venues, to different planners, to have this person be on site. So if you're also, as a DJ, as most of us are, actually, involved to some degree with setting up the events or planning the events, this is a pivot that I was looking at, making sure, helping the planner make sure that they're enforcing social distancing, making sure that people are getting screened when they come into the venue, having sanitizer and hand washing stations, and thinking about all these things as someone who, as event professionals, this is a great other, potential revenue source. So there's the COVID compliance officer training, and then they came out with another one just recently, and I did the first training 2 weeks ago now, which is a pandemic compliance advisor, which is similar, but it's more not just on site, but more involved in the planning and the design of the event. And this is something that I've always collaborated on, especially a lot with my corporate clients. I'm designing their holiday party and providing the DJs, the entertainment of different sorts. So long story short, I got connected with someone with an opportunity, and I was able to put that training plus my years of event production experience together. And my current pivot is not exactly with music, but I am actually running a COVID vaccine site in a parking lot in the Mission District of San Francisco. And it happened super fast, but I feel blessed to have the opportunity just to be working, and also taking all that experience of throwing parties and moving people through spaces and making them feel comfortable and interfacing with diverse communities. It's a perfect fit. So that's where I'm at now. And I never would have guessed that that's what I was going to be doing back in February, when I came back from Costa Rica and I did my last event at Fort Mason, and we barely pulled it off because everyone was like, it was like a few days before shutdown, was like, should we do it? Should we cancel the event? So anyone who is interested, I did the training through Health Education Services. You can Google that. They do have more trainings upcoming. And if you're going to be coming back to DJing at live events, I highly recommend it. Anyone who I'm going to be hiring in the future, I'm going to have them do the training, because it's just important knowledge to have, even if you're not looking to pivot in that direction as an event professional. I think it's, and as the mic controller, right? Like, it's part of our job is keeping people safe and, making sure people are having a good experience. So this has been really, strange and unexpected, but a big blessing for me.
Well, there you go. I mean, it definitely opens up all these other roles that we can play, right? For me, I have already been live streaming for a few years now, even before COVID, where I was covering different people's events and going to different panel discussions and live streaming them, or I've live streamed like stuff for schools before, for a school presentation where the kids are performing. So there's definitely a niche for that as well, for live streaming out, not just the DJ portion, but like you said, with a wedding or something like that. You could have a live wedding live streamed out, and on top of that, also play the part of a DJ. I mean, you probably have to have somebody do the live streaming of the wedding and stuff like that separately from the DJ thing.
Yeah.
But there's all types of different roles that we can play in today's environment.
Yeah, I think definitely, and a big role in mobile DJ service is client education, right? I mean, everyone here, I'm sure, has had to explain that as a wedding DJ, as a corporate event DJ, maybe a little bit less, but you are interacting with the crowd and you are supporting the event management by making announcements, by, just essentially helping with the flow of the event throughout the evening or the daytime. Maybe you're providing the microphones and the sound for a wedding ceremony, right? And now we're just expanding that. We're expanding our role by overseeing this streaming production, which is a whole other thing. but it, you
It
know,
is.
we're kind of like all one man or one person bands at this point. When you're bringing in your own gear, when you're setting up your own gear, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a unique opportunity and a good space to be in. So yeah, doing that client education, the planner education, like, hey, it's not just a DJ set. It can be this whole visual element. We can, you know, bring people onto the video like you're doing right now in StreamYard, Ren, having us here.
Yep.
You know, multiple people, and you know, and hybrid events are definitely, you know, what's going to be the standard. Maybe not even just for the near future, but for going forward. You know, like Twin Spin was saying, you know, bringing people in, like big conferences and things like that are not going to be happening in the same way, at least for the next 2-3 years, if ever again.
Agreed.
It's not just the health and safety situation, but it just, planners are seeing that, you know, what they thought was a given, was necessary for events, is not. You know, like we don't always have to all be in the same place. It's not necessarily the best thing. And sometimes, you know, by being creative with your visual presentation and your interaction, you can actually get a better engagement. You can get a better return on investment as an event planner, or as a performer, by doing online stuff, because you have more of a captive audience.
Yeah,
that's so true. Also, and the marketing side of things, you know what I mean? Like you the reach is, you get greater reach, but also the marketing, the branding is also kind of a key for some companies, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where can you have an event where you can reach literally people in all areas of the country? You can share videos and just commercials that you want to share with everyone, and you can control the message. And it's relatively, like, it's not as expensive as you once thought it was pre-COVID.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago, I used to work in the tech industry when I'm in my early 20s. I was working in tech, and they would send us to these conferences that's, you know, related to our industry. But I remember sitting in those conferences with like thousands of people in this giant room, just thinking to myself, like, we could do this virtually, like on stream or somewhere. Like, why are we all here? You know, because it was literally, we would sit there, listen to somebody talk, and then we're done. We go outside, have a break, go back in, somebody else talks, go back outside, have lunch, come back in, talks, go back. And I'm thinking, like, this could be done sitting in the comfort of your office at home, easily looking at a computer, the exact same thing. Because it's not like we were all interacting with each other. We were just there to watch somebody talk about the company or the product or whatever. And so now that's happened. So I think a lot of these companies are realizing that, this really does work. And this is a lot cheaper than what we would do if we would have to rent out the Moscone Center, right? So they, I think their eyes are really opening. And I was just talking to a buddy of mine. His job specifically is event planning for a corporate firm, for a tech firm that he works for. And he's like, our eyes have really opened up to virtual streaming and virtual conferences now, because we've realized how much cheaper it is. He said, logistically, it's more of a nightmare. Because there's a lot of equipment and all that. And they what they do is they have to send, like, if they hire a speaker to come out and talk for a conference, they send them what's called a streaming kit, which includes like a laptop, a camera, and a microphone and all that kind of good stuff with instructions. So they ship all that to them, and then they show them how to use it. But that's really it, right? And then they said the money that they save from that versus having to rent out a big hall or a exhibit hall is just night and day. So they're like, they can see a lot. They said for sure they're gonna be doing a lot more virtual.
Yeah, and they I just say they need a DJ and an MC to keep the people moving, because you don't want a quiet chat. So they need us now more than ever, because they can't be the ones to control the room. Like, they need us. So that's just to add on to that point.
Well, they want break. They want entertainment still. They still, they don't want conference just to be some boring conference where people sit there and talk and you have to watch them. They still want that fun and excitement in between the sessions. So that's where they come to us as DJs. They're like, well, we want something really cool and fun to bring into this event, because we don't want it just to be all about people talking on stage. It gets boring. So they're like, what can you guys do? And I show them what I can. Like, that's perfect. That's exactly what we would want. That'd be great. And people get a kick out of it. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, as simple, Ren, as when you come by sometimes on Fridays when we would do trivia. Like, trivia is real simple, but they love it because it's engaging. People love it. And it's something we can do very easily on whether it be Zoom or teams or whatever, and they're like, "Whoa, we can do this and do that, and music too." So yeah, I hate meaning to cutting you off, Ren, but go ahead.
Oh no, that's I was
Ren
actually
talks too
about
much.
to.
Don't feel bad about it.
No, this is exactly how I want this conversation to go. For everybody to just chime in, and because I don't want to just be leading the conversation. And I actually, you made up a good point, because and just leading to that, like, my wife is always, on her side, she's the event director at the law school, so they're always trying to figure out ways to engage the people. So yeah, trivia is one of the main ways that they're engaging people, but not in the same way that you're doing it, Amani. Nothing like you, because you're on some next level shit. If people are, Matt,
Yeah.
Amani's got this thing where the trivia is showing up on the screen. You have a certain amount of time to answer it. You know what I mean? Like, it's very interactive, and at the same time, he's also DJing and interacting with the chat. It's
That's
crazy.
impressive. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's like you have your own game show basically. That's dope.
Yeah.
I actually did something like that for Facebook, for like an internal company event, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, and it was very cool. And yeah, if you can bring that online, I bet, if you get that out to the right people, to planners and stuff, that's huge. You need interactivity. Like, people don't want to, same thing, like when they're at a conference, they don't want to just sit in a room and listen to someone talk with a PowerPoint. If you do polling and you do trivia, anything you can do to make it interactive like that and entertaining at the same time, that's massive.
Agreed. Yeah. So Ren, is there a Clubhouse link for this conversation? People are curious. They want to join in.
Okay. You want to join in? Who wants to talk? If anyone wants to join in the conversation, just let me know, and I'll whisper you the link if you wanna join our conversation. Let me know, or just shoot me a whisper.
Yeah, shoot. I think Misty Christie could be interested. Maybe. I'm not going to speak for her, but she was asking about the Clubhouse link.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, shoot me a whisper, and I'll send you over the link to join the conversation if you have something to add to this conversation. Yeah, but I really like what you're doing. One of the things that I was thinking of doing, I'm going to start my own DJ. I'm going to start my own company, my own live streaming company. And basically, the services that I'm going to offer is the live streaming thing, but also a live streaming DJ thing. I want to try to get people like Amani and Twin Spin, other people who have the green screens and have the know-how to communicate with the crowd in the way we do on Twitch, and kind of build a roster of DJs that I could like pitch to different clients, corporate, weddings, whatever. You know what I mean? And also, one of the things I wanted to do is also I wanted to be able to cover your events. If you want me to live stream your wedding so that your family members or whatever can be a part of it, I can also do that. And then the other side of things that I've already been doing with my wife is, a lot of these companies have these Zoom talks and lectures and seminars, and they live stream it out. Very basic. And but what we've been doing is adding the graphics to it, the lower thirds, the title slides, the closing slide. But it's another revenue stream and another way to make money off this live streaming thing.
It is. I mean, one thing, Ren, that you brought up a good point is that I'm not saying everybody, but from what I've experienced so far working with these tech firms, and these aren't just Silicon Valley tech. I'm working with, majority of the firms I've been working with are actually based in the East Coast. So I've been having to stream like East Coast times, so like 3 hours ahead. But they've got the money. They've got they've got the money and the finances to be able to pay. So the money that I've been making off these live streams are pretty equivalent to doing like a full wedding. So I'm so I'm like, would I rather be in my office studio for a few hours and stream live? Or would I rather be at a wedding for 8-10 hours, setting up equipment, tearing down equipment, and all that?
Yes.
Wearing a monkey suit. Let me think about that one, right?
That
Live
cake,
stream
though, that
all
cake
day.
in that buffet, don't you miss it?
Yeah, that's true.
Look, Cold Stone Creamery delivers. Cold Stone Creamery delivers. So you can get your ice cream and cake. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I've definitely done those weddings before.
So I feel you.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's again, that light bulb went off. Like, holy crap! I really can make a pretty living off this streaming stuff. Like, wow, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's out there. It's just again, I think another market that we can all look into is, like you said, is streaming weddings. I'm getting a lot of people. Hey, can you stream my wedding? If so, what do you charge? What do we need? So
Mhm.
I haven't really jumped into that quite yet, and the only reason being I haven't jumped into that yet was because of Wi-Fi internet services.
Yes.
It's really
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
basic guys. Without internet, we're nothing. There's nothing. Nothing's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
So we're a slave to our internet service. So
So
a lot of couples asking me, "Hey, can you stream my wedding ceremony and reception?" And I'm like, "Well, I've got the equipment, but the thing that worries me is the internet service wherever we're going to be at." You know, so that's the only thing that's been kind of holding me back. So I haven't been offering that yet.
you might want to
Yeah,
check
one.
out some of these new. I actually just started doing some research for it, like I was talking about, for the COVID testing sites. We need to be
Mhm.
online, and we're in remote locations. I know a lot of people are afraid of 5G, but there are 5G hotspots out now, and
Okay.
even with 4G, you're honestly good. That's what we're using right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But you have to do a little bit more legwork. Like maybe you go to the venue ahead of time to make sure you have signal, and
Right.
on the day of the event, you ask all the guests to go into airplane mode, so they're not. Well, I guess it would be private anyway, so they won't. Yeah, you want them in airplane mode so their cell phones
Right.
aren't picking up the same tower. But if
Right.
you're on 5G, you can stream HD video through that. So that's
Yeah.
what I would recommend, checking that out. It's definitely doable. I know some people who are live streaming weddings in San Francisco from
Nice.
using their cell phone as a hotspot, even not even having a dedicated hotspot.
I thought about that also too. I thought about using because I have a Wi-Fi card too, right? So I thought about
Mhm.
using a Wi-Fi card if I have to, or using my phone as a hotspot. That's been an option. Like one of the venues I'm a preferred vendor at I did some weddings this past summer. They have a pretty strong Wi-Fi signal even outside. But again, I was just kind of wasn't feeling confident about it. Like I'm the type of person, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, or I'm not going to do it at all. So I was like, look, I don't feel comfortable doing it because I can't guarantee you what the turnout's going to be. But if you want to do it with yourself with your own laptop, you're welcome to do it. They have Wi-Fi there, so they've been doing it, and it's been working fine. They would just bring their MacBook and just point it at the bride and groom, and it works.
Well, yeah. If you need help on that tip, that's what I can help you with and I was about to show. I'm about to send Amani my setup of what
please
I
do.
bring, and because mine is super portable. All I'm
Nice.
using is an iPad and iPhones, and I can connect up to 9 cameras with my
Ren,
system.
let's see it, dude. This is the
let's check it
infomercial
out.
right now, bro. Bring
Oh,
it
okay,
out on
shit.
camera.
All right, here we go.
While you get it set up, I wanted to also say, Twin Spin, like what I found is that you mentioned budget for these corporate events. Like he's showing it to us right now. We're looking. They have to use their budget or they lose it. That's how a lot of the corporations work. So if we can give them options to use their budget so that next year they have it again and maybe a little more. That's
a
even
good point.
preferable. So because otherwise they might lose it and then they're starting from ground zero.
Yeah,
and also,
so this is my whole setup. I have the iPad here. It does all the switching for me. I can select all my different assets right there. And
right.
I just have a couple of I just got a couple of cell phones, iPhones to connect all together, all in one system. I could connect up to 9 cameras with this system. It's basically an app. And it's portable. I take it everywhere. And in terms of the Wi-Fi connection, I can definitely help you out with that stuff too. What I have is the Netgear M1. What's that?
Are you using StreamYard to run that, or what are you running it through?
Oh, right now I'm running StreamYard. But what I usually use is this app called Switcher Studio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a monthly subscription. I basically pay $30 a month. Let me put this back.
Yeah, I think DJ Vader makes use of Switcher Studio also.
Yeah, I heard about Switcher Studio also.
Yeah. So use that instead of OBS, I'm assuming.
Wait, Ren, is that not really all your records back there? Man, I was jealous for a second.
What?
I was jealous of all your vinyl for a second, but then I saw the.
The green screen magic. Hey, that's funny.
So
Good.
yeah, that's what I use. If you need help even on that tip, if you want to team up twin spin, I'm definitely down,
Yeah,
because I
definitely.
could bring all the different cameras, so it's not just like somebody streaming from their from their webcam on their freaking computer.
Yeah, I know.
You
That's,
know,
I
and then I
found
could
out
plug
that the
into
most
the
important
system.
thing for them seems to be just the ceremony. Like they just want to stream the ceremony.
Mm.
They're like,
Yeah.
we don't care about the reception. Just we want them to see the ceremony. That seems to be the most important part, which is 30 minutes or so.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. And in terms of Wi-Fi, in case you guys need to live stream somewhere remotely, and you don't have this whole setup, but you need strong Wi-Fi, what I recommend is definitely the Netgear Nighthawk M1. It's portable. I don't have it right here with me, but you can connect it to a Google Wi-Fi network so that you can have if you have Google Wi-Fi, the pucks, like the 3 pucks, that will
Yeah.
extend your Wi-Fi really well.
They've got the M5 now, which is the same thing but for 5G. So
Oh, the Netgear.
yeah, it's sold out on the Netgear site, so you might be able to get it somewhere else. But that's the hot one right now.
Yeah. So
And it can do
one
all
I
that. You can
recommend.
make a mesh network and attach it to a router and things like that.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing for the past few years, and so yeah, I'm totally.
That's really
I
cool.
think-
Really,
and that's the
really
most
cool.
important thing. Like you said, it's the most important thing is going to the venue before you even start.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have good Wi-Fi, because even you could still take this Netgear and you could be at a dead zone. So
Yeah.
you really have to do some advanced, going to the venue and stuff like that. Make sure you have good Wi-Fi before you even offer the service and sign on the dotted line, I think.
Exactly. Well, then that's another thing too. Is like, okay, well, let's offer the service. It goes back to what do we charge? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
So it's like such a new industry to all of us. Like, okay, what do we charge for a Wi-Fi service or what live streaming service? I don't know.
Well, we are in a specialized field, though, and in a specialized field, you could charge.
I've seen based on my experience of couples I've talked to, it seems like a sweet spot for them is roughly about $500 to $700, right, for a live stream for their wedding ceremony. That seems like the number where they're kind of like, okay, that's reasonable. If you go anything above that, they're like, well, all right, never mind. We'll just do it ourselves.
That's just for the ceremony you're talking about, not
just for the ceremony,
not a dance
pretty
party
much.
or anything like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you can always build the package. You could say, well, you want just a ceremony, or you want the reception also? You want one camera, or you want 2 cameras? You want you want a direct audio feed, or you want to just use an audio feed off of that laptop? What do you want? How do you want it? I always tell them, we can go directly off our mixing board, so it's nice and clean. You have a clean signal, but things like so. It's all about building that package for them. Okay,
What's the sweet spot you're noticing for corporate events?
Corporate events seem like 2 hours is a standard set for DJs, and the prices can be as low as $600-700 for 2 hours, all the way up to $2,000 for 2 hours.
Okay.
The way you probably really want to package it is that you want to offer them the DJing and let them know it's also including emceeing and hosting services, and that you take song requests. Kind of like typically when you do a normal event, you're going to explain to them like, yeah, I'll be your MC and your DJ. I'll be taking song requests from your guests. So yeah, it's really varies. It depends on what company. The smaller companies definitely have a smaller budget, but even some of the larger companies I've been working with, they're kind of stingy on the money. So I'm like, okay, like I got booked for a Microsoft event coming up in March, and I thought like it'd probably have a pretty decent budget, but they're like, oh, this is all we've got. I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah,
So
because you need the experience to add that to that, and I wonder
exactly.
Are most of the ones you're doing through like Zoom, or are you doing some through Teams? Like I did one in December through WebEx, and WebEx is really challenging to live stream through to OBS. It was rough.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what other platforms you're being asked to use.
I've been so I've been using Twitch, believe it or not. So the way I do it is that I have a separate account on Twitch that I only use for corporate. I don't share it with anybody. I'm not about trying to get affiliate. I don't care about any of that. I don't even ask nobody to follow me. Although sometimes people follow me for no reason, but I say I don't mention anything about that. So I use that just as a separate account, And Miss Ninja actually she does corporate events too, so she does the same thing.
I
And
love
I'm
it.
talking to other DJs who are doing that. So yeah, just create a separate account and then just use it for your streaming. And yeah, and I explained to them how it works. And I guess what the corporate companies have been doing for their conferences, they have what's called virtual breakout rooms. So they'll go to like these different breakout rooms. They just click on the rooms, right? And so they'll have one that says DJ Twin Spin live performance 2 p.m. And then they'll basically click on that at 2 p.m. or 2:05, whatever, and then they'll see me performing live, and they'll hang out there for a while. But they'll promote it in advance too. They'll be like, "Hey, we've got a live DJ at 2 p.m. for happy hour. Go check it out," or whatever. And then yeah, people just start jumping in there.
Are you talking about a Zoom breakout room, or is this a separate kind of breakout room?
No, so these corporate conferences, they use a completely separate streaming service, right? So it's basically a streaming service that utilizes their own server, and it's all they do is they just do live streams, but it's more designed for like conferences, presentations, people standing on green screen stages and things like that. But a lot of that's already pre-production. It's already pre-produced. It's pre-recorded, and then they just literally click play, and it's already playing. So, but then in that those streaming platforms that they use, they have a home section where they would the viewer can go to wherever they want. So they may have an expo, right? So they can click on expo and it takes them to a virtual expo room where I have all these different vendors hanging out. And then they can click on each of the booths and check out their virtual booths, right? And so there'll be another link. It'll say DJ Twin Spin, performance, or happy hour, DJ Twin Spin party. And they click on that, and then boom, it takes them directly to my my Twitch page.
Nice.
I think I've seen that. I've definitely seen some of those, like some of the people who run those companies, and yeah, they try to take you into kind of like a virtual world where it's on all on their website, and you can go to like the different rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different right now. There's probably about a good 4 or 5 that I know of that all they do is they specialize in virtual events, right? So they do like fundraisers, galas, conferences. But they don't have like a platform like Twitch in the sense that a DJ can stream and interact with the audience and see the chat like we do on Twitch. So they don't have that. But they do. It just basically they just take our link and they integrate it into their streaming platform so that people just can click on it.
Yeah, one thing that I've explored a little bit that I'm getting actually inspired to look into further is I've worked in some of the Twitch streams I've done. What's up? I've done worked with some VJs who are, they're always on point with their tech, right? So like I was working with my homie David Kupferberg, who's out. He's Professor Lightwave. He's out in Maui. And I was streaming high quality audio to him. And he was taking my audio and adding it to his video feed. And he was live VJing for me using his own custom graphics. And I've worked with a company called All of It Now also that was based in San Francisco. They just moved to Austin, like a lot of people are doing right now. And they're doing XR stuff. So they're creating fully interactive virtual environments, kind of what you guys are talking about. But you can create a branded experience for a corporate client for a big conference and get your DJ booth in the middle of it. And you could like be shooting laser beams or like, behind the wheel of the new Bugatti, like, or Tesla or whatever, while you're DJing. Nice. I actually have DJed inside a Tesla before in the Tesla factory, but that was a whole other many moons ago. Seems like another world. So there's basically the sky's the limit for us. As long as you're open to new opportunities and growing your skill set, like everybody here is very inspiring to me. And the sky's the limit for us as DJs and performers.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely
agree.
I just want to welcome DJ Works in the building. If you're not familiar with DJ Works, he's based out of the Bay Area. He's also one of the folks that that's hired me for a bunch of my mobile DJ gigs. DJ Works, tell some people a little bit about what you've been doing.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I appreciate you guys putting me on here, man. Big shout to everyone there.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yo,
tell us about your pivot.
Yeah, I've pivoted. I mean, since the shutdown. Well, before that, we've been doing the mobile gigs and all that. But since the shutdown, you have to force yourself to do something. like Twin Spin was talking about, man, we just kind of latched on to Twitch. It's been great. Things have been moving steadily. I recently got hired by Cookies Cannabis and Clothing. I'm now their official DJ online. I've been doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, things have just been cracking, man. You just gotta look out the box and just see what we need to do. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. I was talking to Rand a little bit about that yesterday, and we can all band together, put our heads together, man. Really, we can really take over this online world, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with Twitch being like such a great networking opportunity. We already know some DJs who do it well. That's one of my things that I'm going to try to do is try to build a roster and then and just try to pitch this whole thing. One of my questions for either Twin Spin and I know Amani, you mentioned something about some other platform that you were streaming to that was a headache. Like what's that all about?
Oh, that was WebEx. So they had a
WebEx.
conference that they were doing an event, and they had to use WebEx. They were required by the company to use WebEx. So WebEx is like another form of like Zoom or Teams, just one of those sharing platforms, video sharing platforms. And it was very challenging to work. We had to do so much extra work for sound checks and video checks, and it really didn't work the best way it could in the end, but we were able to get through it. But just the syncing with OBS and the video and the green screen, it just was really clunky. And it's known. There's issues. It's been written about online, so you see there's issues.
Wow.
But it was just a huge learning experience.
Yeah. And just recently I live streamed to YouTube because for the longest time YouTube wouldn't interrupt my streams, and they would just like block it at the end of my stream. But this last time that I did it for the law school, it interrupted my stream. It saw the copyright. It put me back on, but it kept like cutting me off and then coming back on. So do not use YouTube for any of this stuff. It sounds like your solution, Twin Spin, is probably the best solution, is creating a whole separate account on Twitch that's just mainly for that specific corporate client.
Yeah, I would. Let's see. So one of the challenges, just as full disclosure, one of the challenges, but I noticed real quick, Matt, you said you got to bounce. I'm not sure if you have to bounce.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I just wanted to say thank you. It was great interacting with y'all. I also did actually get an account banned on Twitch by accidentally running a bunch of copyrighted music videos. When I left the room, my account was cut off. So be very careful and definitely have some burner accounts. I just want to quickly shout out people who are doing amazing jobs streaming and have pivoted really well. DJ Maxwell, he's got an amazing interactive setup on Twitch. Audio One, I hope he's doing better and healing up, but he was a madman streaming like every day. And DJ Chris Fox, aka Jazzy Fox, has been doing the sit and spin. He was trying to get healthy in quarantine, so his wife set up a stationary bike, and he's like, wait, I can actually mix on my turntables while doing spinning. So he's doing a live spin class.
That's awesome.
Teaching spin class, like decked out and in like super suave outfit, like gear, and mixing and interacting with people. And he just absolutely sit and spin on Instagram. Definitely check him out. Ren, you're the man. Peace, y'all.
Take care.
Appreciate it, Matt.
All right.
That's awesome.
And that was Matt Hayes. Yeah.
What I was going to say was one of the challenges of even when you have a separate Twitch channel for only strictly corporate events or private events, the challenges I am still running into is that you'll get those people who will follow you from a past event. They'll click your follow button. And so when you go live, let's say I did an event for Microsoft a month ago, and then the next month I'm doing an event for Cisco. That person from Microsoft will jump up because they see me. Oh, Twin Spin's live. I'm gonna go check them out.
Yeah.
So that's happened where they jump in the channel when I'm streaming for another company, and unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. Like I can't. I tried looking into a way. Is there a way to shut off like the announcements alerts when you go live? But you can't do that. And then so it was this one event that happened I was doing where somebody jumped in from a different company, which from a previous stream. Luckily, they're really cool. They were professional. They weren't like really obnoxious or anything. But
they weren't trolling.
They weren't trolling. Thank God. But they were like, oh, so what is so and so? What is this? They basically said, oh, so what's so and so? Basically saying like, what's this company do?
Mhm.
And then the people were kind of like, huh? And when I saw that, I was like,
Uh-oh.
oh shit. I go, I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's somebody obviously not from this company, right? So somebody else in the chat room jumped in. Oh, we do this and that and that. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh yeah, that's not good. So that's one of the challenges is getting the platform where it's private, and that's actually something I'm working on right now. It's kind of in the wraps, kind of on deep secret stuff, but you guys know about it eventually once it gets exposed. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things one of the projects I'm working on with a software engineer right now at the moment. So
Cool.
yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, it'll be for everybody. It'll be for all the DJs. But that's something that I've been thinking of for quite a while, because I started thinking like, what if Twitch shuts us down tomorrow, right?
Right.
Like we can forget about, we can just pretty much cancel this conversation we're having, because there's going to be no corporate streaming, because what are we going to use for streaming, right? It's kind of hard. And then I thought
Right.
about Mixcloud. Mixcloud is an option to
Yep.
use as well too.
Somebody,
But
yep,
again,
somebody in the
it's-
chat
it's-
said Mixcloud's decent.
Mixcloud, right? It's
Mhm.
decent for what you want, but again, it's still not private. Anybody can jump on there and they control you. They can do whatever they want. So that's a big concern for me, is if I'm doing these corporate events and I'm streaming for 500 people for Amazon, and then somebody starts jumping in, starts trolling, that's not a good look, right? So
yeah, and I think Mixcloud has fewer options in terms of moderation. You know what I mean? You can't
very
just
little.
boot people off or
Yeah.
block messages and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Very little. So that's definitely one of the things that's sitting in the back of my head, is that this can be all pulled from us out of like a rug out of us tomorrow. And then now we're like, okay, we can't virtually stream to corporate because we don't have Twitch anymore. We can try Zoom, but we know the sound quality is just not there, and it's not the same. So it starts limiting our selection of what can we use as a streaming platform. So that's been it's been sitting in the back of my head. And again, the concern about having trolls coming through a middle of a stream when you're DJing for a corporate company, that's just not a good look. So, yeah.
Yeah, those are all very important concerns to worry about.
Yeah.
Amani, have you had any experience with Zoom? Or have you had any luck making it sound good?
No. No, Zoom has done a few upgrades for their sound, but no, like it's not really built for that, so it doesn't work the best. It's passable sound, like many people will be fine with it, but for us, because we're trying to perfect the sound, it's just not the best. But if someone wants to hire me and they understand that the sound is not going to be at the highest quality, but they still want the interaction and the music, then let's go. We'll roll with it, because as the sound improves, they'll remember that, and we can keep moving forward. But Zoom, they're just not there yet. But you see them make improvements. Sound, like StreamYard here, made improvements too. So I assume Zoom will continue to make improvements, and we just have to keep growing with the platform. I'd rather take the gig on Zoom than not take a gig, is basically my point.
I agree.
Yeah.
I would, same here. I'd take it. Even if I didn't want to, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, I've never successfully done anything on Zoom, but I think there's a good tutorial on DJ Tech Tools on how to make set up your settings so that it sounds good on Zoom. So you might want to check out DJ Tech Tools as a really good.
You can run it through OBS and through your audio interface through OBS, and add like some limiters and add some other compression things on it to make it sound better. And that's basically what I've learned to really, really kind of improve it. So that's a definite possibility.
Yeah.
So anything else to add, guys? I know Amani, you have something going on soon, right? Do you have to bounce, or you could stick around for the?
I got another 15
while
minutes,
longer?
and then I got a meeting.
All
with
right.
some students. So yeah.
So we got solutions here. I see. I'm kind of inspired, by what you're doing, Twin, because you're already turning some of your corporate clients into virtual clients.
Right.
And I'm really impressed with Amani. I'm definitely gonna, I got him. He's definitely going to be part of my roster once I put this whole thing together. You know what I mean? Because the stuff that you're doing is so valuable. I can see all types of companies, hiring you to do your trivia, DJ.
We can do the dating game if they want to,
Survivor.
Valentine's celebration. We can do the dating game for a company or
There you go.
anything else
That'd
they
be
want
cool.
to do.
Yeah, it's all about content,
Yeah.
man. Armani's
Yeah.
a king of content. He's got some of the dopest contents on his stream. That's why his channel's so successful, and that's
Thank
what
you.
Yeah.
it's coming down to is your content's awesome. Like it's so fun and intriguing and interactive. It's like everyone wants to see it. Who would not want to, right?
Yeah,
So
thank
that's
you.
what
We're
it comes down to,
just trying to keep it fresh. Sometimes we try things, it doesn't work out. Sometimes we try things, it does work out. But you just keep trying and add to it. Like you said, Survivor. We have the brackets, which is cool. So just try some other things and keep it fresh. It's fun for me. It's fun for the viewers because I think as we get longer into this Twitch world, people are gonna get tired of seeing the same old thing. Like DJs will DJ. That's cool.
I'm already there. I've been there. I've been there since 4 months ago. I'm like, how many DJs can you watch? After a while, you're just kind of like, okay, yeah. It's the same thing, same music. So that's why recently I've been looking outside of our community, of the DJ community. And I recommend anybody who's watching this right now, if you're from the DJ community, I strongly, highly recommend go outside of the Twitch, your normal Twitch DJ community, and go look at other categories. Go look at music. Go look at just talk shows. Everything. Go look at IRL. Everything.
Yes, IRL is cool. I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there because you'll experience. It's just a different vibe in those communities than it is in the DJ community. So I've been spending a lot of time on musicians' channels, and that's why this week for my show I invited 2 musicians to be on my show. It's the first time I'm doing this, but I'm excited about that. So yeah, go outside. I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm getting bored of watching all the DJs. No disrespect to any DJs. I love them. But it's only so many DJs you can watch. You're like, okay, yeah, all right, next, But that's what I like about yours, Amani, is that you definitely bring something different to the table every time you're streaming. It's content. It goes back to content, and that's really, really important.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to address a question that looks like the Lance guy had asked. Can you drop or block users on Twitch? I looked into that actually, and unfortunately, you can't. There's no way. If somebody's following you, there's no way you can kind of stream without them not knowing, unless they shut off their alerts on their end. So if they don't shut that off, every time you go live, it's going to alert them that, hey, Amani's going live. But I looked into that specifically. So that's when you asked that question, because I thought of the same thing. I was like, ooh, I'll just block people who are following me. They'll never know I'm streaming. But they don't do that. There's no way for them to do that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let's see. DJ Works, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Just
so
yeah, go ahead.
Nice. So yeah, DJ Works. You're starting to book some stuff in advance now. Are you guys? Anybody else booking stuff, like your corporate clients booking you for in real life events now, or what?
For me, not yet. Virtual things, yes, but me, not yet.
Same here. Nothing in real life. Virtual, yeah. There's lots of conferences coming up. Like in March, there's a couple. June, there's a couple. August, there's like 3. So, yeah, they're what they're doing right now is basically like Google and all these companies who do their normal annual traditional conferences or big blowout conferences. They're doing them, but they're just doing them virtual. So what they did last year was they had them all planned, but they had to cancel them all. So that's why Salesforce didn't happen, even though it was all planned. They canceled it all out. So I think this year with Salesforce, they're going to make it a virtual event and do it all online.
Okay, DJ Works.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of events kind of booked in real life stuff. I got a couple of weddings. I got just some bunch of private stuff that's going to be happening. But again, with the whole COVID thing, I'm just telling the clients, look, I need to be secured away from everyone. There's no contact. I'll be in my corner. We'll play music. We'll set up everything. But yeah, I've got a few things booked up for this year, and just waiting for everything to open up, man. It's going to be crazy in 2022, man. Yeah. I'm excited for this whole cookies venture because it'll be like a whole second kind of life for me, man. Because I've been doing mobile events, and I've never been in the club scene. I've never done any of that kind of stuff. But then now with the shutdown and just kind of force you to pivot, man. I'm like moving into this whole hip hop tour stuff, and I'll be touring with Stingy. I'll be doing some stuff with the Cookies stuff. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. Just how things just kind of evolve, right? It's like my my second win, my second life, man. So.
Are you guys noticing the wedding industry is just still kind of normal? I'm still getting booked for weddings. Like right now, typically now through March is when all my bride and groom start calling me. So I booked like the past week. I booked 4 weddings. They're just booking like, yeah, business is normal. But in my mind, I'm going like, I'll take your booking and we'll put you in the books and let's go. But in my mind, I'm also thinking like, is this wedding really going to happen? Like, okay, I'm going to book it, but I don't know if this wedding's going to happen. But hey, let's see what happens, right? So. Are you guys also seeing that? Corporate for sure is kind of like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I think bride and grooms are like, no, I want to get married. I want my wedding. So,
yeah.
I haven't gotten many from myself personally, so not yet. But maybe it'll happen sooner, but not for me yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a couple of weddings that are booked up. I mean, actually today I got an email for one wedding that's coming up in June, and they're like, we're going to postpone. So it's kind of up in 50-50, depending on the couple and what they want to do. This couple had a lot of family coming in from Canada, so they're kind of worried about that. Yeah, but I think a lot of the local ones that are happening here, then most of the family are close by, and they're just pushing forward.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've got 2 weddings in March. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I guess they're going to do it all outdoors. They're dropping it down to like 40 people.
Right.
It's originally supposed to be 150 people, so I'm like, wow. So I did a bunch this summer. I did a bunch of weddings this summer. I did 6. They're all outdoors, but they, again, 40 people. Tables are spread way out, no dancing, just background. Basically, it was a jukebox for 4 hours or so.
Oh, it sounds painful.
Yeah, it just it was real simple. Just no real hardcore DJing, no hardcore mixing. It's just basically playing some background music, but people still having a good time. It's just there was no dancing. They were kind of like, oh, man, what are we going to do? There's no dancing. Like, how are we going to kill that time? And I said, don't worry about it. You'll be too busy chatting with your family and friends that it's going to go by like that regardless. And that's exactly what happened every time. Every couple I was talking to, they're concerned, like, what are we going to do with all that downtime? I said, you're not going to have any downtime. You'll be too busy talking to. You're going to see family and friends who you haven't seen in years. You probably won't see in years again after your wedding day. So you're going to be sitting there talking to them, right? Yep. And so all that time is just going to literally zip right by. And next thing you know, they're like, you're right. Yeah, it's over already. I said, yep, told you.
So any lessons to be learned in terms of contracts, in terms of cancellations, or anything you guys can offer in terms of like, what should we change the contract? Is there one of those disaster clauses in your contract?
Yeah.
If not, there should be. I think we've learned that, especially what Matt was speaking about. Like, definitely make sure your contracts are tight for anything like this to occur again. And like, you keep the deposit. Like if you're booking, that's the main thing, is you keep the deposit. So that's the one main learning in terms of contracts, is to keep it real tight and, keep the deposit as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely agree. You guys heard people talking about the force majeure clause in the contracts. So that basically doesn't really cover your ass. That basically says, like, if we have to cancel because of a pandemic or a world disaster, you have to give me my money back. So my contract doesn't have a force majeure in it. It just basically states that you have a three-day cool down period after you book. After the 3 days, it's non-refundable. But I offer them a transfer of their balance up to 1 year to a brand new date, so without any extra fees. But what I've been discovering, what I've been hearing a lot, is a lot of venues and also vendors also are, if you want to change it to a new date, they're actually charging extra fees on top of what they already charged them, which I'm not doing, but some people are doing it. And I get it. I mean, I guess because they're basically, since they're losing all their business for 2020, they lost all their business for 2020. So in order to book up a date in 2021 with the same customer that they should have had in 2020, they're essentially losing a brand new customer that they could have booked in 2021. So in order to compensate that loss, they're charging them an addition on top of whatever they originally paid. So that was their logic behind it. But I'm not doing that though.
Yeah.
Those are really good tips, though. In terms of like your contract. So after 3 days, it's non-refundable.
Yeah, I give them basically a cool down period, which is 3 days, and then if they don't after 3 days, it's non-refundable because I locked in the date for you. Because within that 3 days, I could have got a gig and turned it down already. So, but they're usually okay with that. I've never had anybody have issues with that. But yeah, like with the pandemic, I definitely had to change up some of the wording on my contract to let them know that we can transfer your date to a new date and your deposit to a new date up to 1 year. After 1 year, you have to rebook the entire wedding over again.
Yeah.
And what about you guys? What in terms of your contracts, DJ Works or Amani?
So I'm just following the same example that TwinSpit had, like taking out the force majeure, non-refundable after 72 hours, and that's it. I will give them a year. They can book it as based on my availability for a year if they have to cancel it, but that's it, nothing back.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I added that to my contract as well. Basically, non-refundable deposits. A deposit, man. It's booked, but we can definitely look into other dates for you guys, and then we're not going to charge anything on top of that.
Yeah.
Do you give a certain amount of days,
I
or
just,
as soon as it's booked?
yeah,
Mhm.
just kind of go with that. I mean, I feel bad how things are going, and man, a lot of so much of me just like I just want to just get the deposit back, but still at the same time, man, business is business, and it's we can't.
True.
Right, it's going to hurt us moving into 2022 because now we're going to basically lose out twice because of this one event.
Yeah, that's exactly why these venues and vendors are charging extra, because they're like, we're losing out on a potential brand new client because you took this new date. So they're charging on top of that. I get it. But one thing I did want to mention also with regards to contracts, guys, if and anybody else that's listening, is if you are planning to get into the virtual streaming business side of it, you really need to redraft your entire contract from scratch, pretty much over again, because a lot of the stuff doesn't pertain, like liability insurance. You don't need liability insurance, like setup, tear down time, all that stuff's going to change, right? So, and then you also have to disclose, potential issues with Wi-Fi, internet goes down. So you got to definitely put that on the fine print of the contract, let them know that, yeah, without internet, we're nothing. It's going to die. The entire stream's going to completely die down. So there's that chance of happening, and letting them know. So that's one thing, is I had to have my attorney look at my contract and kind of pretty much redraft the entire thing specifically for the live streaming, virtual streaming industry, because it's way different than doing a real live gig, So yeah, keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah, good tips, definitely. Yeah. Anything else moving forward before we, any other last thoughts?
I would say just for all of us to continue to evolve. Like I really commend True School and yourself for putting this on, and also TwinSpin and everyone on the panel for really just continuing to evolve, because we have to. Like things are not going to be the same, and so there's enough out there for all of us. There's more than enough out there for all of us. So as we continue to work together and share, like I'll never forget when I met TwinSpin, he was sharing something simple about how to put a little hype train graphic on the OBS and make it active. But just that small act, like if you continue to share like contracts and information and things, we can push the industry further along. So it benefits all of us. And that's just my final thought.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, and in terms of that, if you don't know, Amani Experience has a show every Monday, Twitch University, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah,
that breaks down all the things you need to know about Twitch, about live streaming. He does a really good job in terms of like different tips, different resources that's out there. You should tune into that as well.
Yeah, that wasn't supposed to be a plug, but thank you for that. So.
No, that's a great show. I mean, I love his Monday shows. It's very
and also TwinSpin, you do, like you mentioned before, you're doing your Twitch talks on Sunday.
Yeah, I got a Sunday show at 12 p.m. that I do. Same thing. It's similar as what Amani does, but it's not as detailed. Like Amani gets real deep. He gets deep. And I love that, right? I love that. So mine's kind of more skims the surface of how to use Twitch, and it talks about streaming and the etiquette of Twitch. But then I bring in guests every week where we talk about their experience of being on Twitch. And so now, like I mentioned earlier, now I'm trying to bring the DJ community together with the musician community on Twitch, because we really should, if you think about it, we're tied by music, right? So we really should be coming together, and that's not happening yet. So my goal now is to bring us together, one big family.
Yeah, like Twin Spin and I work together because he's like, we need a video that shows people how to properly refresh after a raid or how to properly host. So, I kind of went into the lab, came up with a nice little video, YouTube, sent it to you, and I think it's going to work pretty well, right, Twin
Yeah,
Spin?
I think so. I think so. People are Ren, you've probably seen this. You guys have probably seen what people say, refresh the screen, try to get the viewer count.
Yep.
That's all wrong. It's not working. And we finally discovered like we've been telling everybody to do this, but it's doing absolutely nothing. So I reached out to Amani and said, Amani, what should we do? We got to figure out a way to let people know it's this way, not that way. And so Amani came out with this cool short little video clip, and it tells everybody really quick how to refresh the screen the proper way so that you do get the viewer count
on desktop and on mobile. So it's really So we did
really
it
easy.
So basically, are you just clicking on the link in the chat to bring people on? It's not the refresh thing, right? You're not refreshing. You're just clicking the link in the chat.
On mobile,
refreshing
whole new.
Refreshing does nothing. If you click the refresh button on your browser or anything like that, it doesn't work. You have to literally click on the channel name. So in this case, we would click on True School. Or what I recommend again is in your bot messages, put the link there and just say, welcome raiders, please refresh your screen by clicking on this link. And they just click on the link, and that's it.
Yeah.
Boom.
And do that. So so mobile, you click on the link, and that'll get you in there. And then if you're on desktop, you click on like their little name, and then you click on the chat and their name, and you just want to watch the link up top to make sure it disappears.
Yeah.
And then you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Good to know. So you guys, are always giving these great tips. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Always happy to do that. Always happy to help our community get bigger and better and smarter.
And we have somebody who is a fan of the dating game. I still have to sit Wednesday. So if DJ works, Amani does a dating game now. On top of the trivia he does on Friday, the Twitch University, on Wednesdays he has a dating game. I've only caught the beginning of it. I haven't watched the whole thing through, but I can see how it could be seriously entertaining. I heard that you guys made a match this past Wednesday.
Well, one of the lucky winners of previous D show, she's in the chat, Flossie, matched up with Soup, and they had a good first date. I think they might have a good second date coming up there. So
nice.
And then we had another match this week, and then 2 weeks we have Neil Jackson and see, there she is, Flossie Bay, and Neil Jackson and DJ 360 coming for the Valentine's Day special. And I have my friend Damona Hoffman, who's a dating coach, who's going to be there as the co-host. So we try to, make it worthwhile.
Nice.
I
didn't know there was such thing as a dating coach. That's pretty cool.
I didn't. Before I moved to California, I didn't realize that they were matchmakers. And we had my friend Christina, who's a matchmaker. She was a quick co-host in the beginning, early on this episode, so she was good. There's people out there,
What are they dating?
So how are they doing these dates? Virtual dates?
Right.
Yeah, we have sponsor, and we give them each a $40 Grubhub gift card so they can order their meals that are delivered, and they can kind of converse over the meal and eat. And, we try to do it as best as we can. So far, so good. It's fun.
There you go.
And tell you, to watch the show, you watch the show as one episode, but then watch the chat. The chat is bananas. It is hilarious there because I get distracted watching the chat. I forget about the show.
Yeah. That's a great show. It's fun. If you guys haven't watched that dating show, you got to watch it. It's fun.
On it. You got to get on it, man.
I got to watch the reruns.
It's up there on my channel. Just watch it.
So,
which one is the best one so far? Is the last one the best one? I want to watch a rerun and see if it's what's the best one you've seen so far. You've been doing it a month?
There's 3 of them. We've done 3 of them so far. So you gotta watch them. The first one's really good, just because of how it came down at the end. The second one is good because when Flossie and Soup matched, it was just so cool because you could tell, they're gonna be a good match. That was cool. And then the third one, it was just funny because some of the answers from the contestants were just like, whoa, pause worthy. And so it was and the recap. And then you bring the people who won back for the recap of their previous date. So we had Flossie and Soup's recap, which was so cool. So it just keeps building. I think next time I have another special segment I'm going to try to add, but we have 2 matches next time. So it's just really cool. It's funny.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's fun. It's a fun show.
Dope,
It's hilarious, but it's entertaining, and it's interesting, it's entertaining, it's funny. Yeah, it's a blast, and
Yeah.
definitely the chat
Nice.
room makes that show so much more funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta commend you, Amani. You're really killing the game. DJ Works does on Tuesdays. He does his cookie stream. As he's mentioned, he's the official DJ for cookies, so he's not allowed to wear any other branded, no logos.
Yeah,
You better have a cookies. Is that a cookie sweatshirt you got on right now?
Yeah, you gotta get the cookie swag.
I know. I got, people are approaching me. They're like, "Hey, can you wear this and wear that?" I was like, "Man, some of the companies have been dope too." I'm just like, "I'm sorry, I just gotta represent my family, man. That's all I'm doing." So, and what we're doing on Tuesdays too is it's not just a mix show with me DJing. I'm showcasing a bunch of Burners music, Stingy stuff. We're doing some creative mixes and whatnot, but also bridging the new artists in. So what I'm doing now is showcasing a bunch of indie artists, and they're coming on, and a lot of them are unreleased music that we're doing. So the second half of the show is all new artists coming in with from all over the country. So it's a pretty dope platform, man. Things have been jumping off pretty fat, and we got a lot of love from the East Coast, man. So you guys want to hear some new music or whatnot, definitely come in, check it out Tuesday night. I'm gonna plug this shit up Tuesday.
As you should.
Yeah, you should.
Tuesday 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right over here on Twitch, my channel. Get familiar with it. You can network. We're gonna be. We got people coming in all the time, like Don P, a lot of Cookies families coming in, man. Stingy will be in there every now and then. Burner will jump in the chat. A lot of quiet stuff. So it's fun, man.
It's very Bay centric too. So you representing the Bay Area to the fullest.
For
That's
sure,
cool.
for sure, it's fun. Just
And since we're plugging Sunday, we got Who Sampled. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, it's the same time as your Twitch talk, Twin Spin. Unfortunately, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But we have special guest Des. We got Des Andres of Slum Village co-hosting with us.
Nice.
And if you haven't seen the show, it's part trivia game. It's part interview, and it's part just musical discovery and just talking shit about music and the background behind the music and stuff like that, and different tidbits of information we have about the music. So it's really fun.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well,
we've had like Shortcut, we've had House Shoes, we've had Neil Armstrong co-host. From the Bay, we've had Jao Weiser, Davey D. DJ D Sharp just from the Golden State Warriors just recently hosted. So yeah, we're keeping it going. We got DJ Flip Out coming up in a couple weeks. Looking to book Green Lantern as well because he's
nice.
That's
dope. All right.
Yeah.
That's really dope.
I gotta make my way out of here. So
so do I. I gotta do.
Thanks for having me, Ren. Appreciate it, and we'll just keep the conversation going.
Yeah, that sounds great, everybody. Let's go raid somebody. Appreciate you, Amani. Appreciate you, Twin Spin. Thank DJ Works for joining us. Yeah, great conversation. Definitely got a lot out of it.
Cool.
And yeah, we'll definitely keep the conversation going. Maybe we'll do another one, a follow up or something like that, sometime in the future. Yeah, and let's get on the phone and see how we can help each other out.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Peace out.
Work, man.
Thanks, Ren. Take care, guys.
Take it easy, guys. Appreciate it. Let's go see who we can raid right now. Let's see. We got DJ Charisma, Spinurita. We got Toby Geary, Andy Smith, Bus Crates. A lot of good people on right now. So yeah, thanks again, Ben. DJ Works for joining us on the late tip, but I definitely appreciate you coming through. And yeah, we'll definitely build in the background. Let's see. Let's go raid DJ Charisma.
Let's go.
She's really
Let's go.
She's really dope. She's a really dope DJ from New York. Just good vibes all together. Let me see how I spell her name. Charisma. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that follow button if you enjoyed the conversation. Make sure you tune in Sunday for Who Sampled. Again, peace out, DJ Works.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, make sure you let DJ Charisma know where you're coming from, and and give her some love. All right, peace out, everybody.